Formula 1 is built on ladders, step by step. Formula 4 to Formula 3, Formula 3 to Formula 2. Years of grinding, hundreds of races, endless data, endless sacrifice. The sport prides itself on structure, hierarchy, and experience earned the hard way. And then Kimi Räikkönen appeared, calm, silent, barely qualified on paper, a driver who seemed to materialize out of nowhere, bypassing the entire system that defined Formula 1's talent pipeline. He did not climb the ladder, he jumped it. And the most shocking part wasn't that he succeeded, it was that anyone allowed him to try. Kimi Räikkönen is remembered as a world champion, a Ferrari driver, and one of the most naturally gifted racers the sport has ever seen. But long before the championships, the podiums, and the legend of the Iceman, there was a question that threatened to stop his career before it ever began. How did a driver with almost no experience convince Formula 1 to let him race? And why did the gamble work? A CV that shouldn't have existed. At the turn of the millennium, Formula 1 was an exclusive club defined by credentials. Drivers arrived with thick resumes built over years of international competition. By comparison, Kimi Räikkönen's racing history looked like a clerical error. He grew up in Espoo, Finland in modest circumstances. Karting was not a glamorous hobby for the Räikkönen family. It was survival, discipline, and obsession. Kimi raced because that was what he did best. Not because he loved interviews. Not because he chased attention. He drove because driving felt natural in a way nothing else did. But even among prodigies, his rise was abnormal. By 2000, most future Formula 1 drivers had already spent multiple seasons in high-level junior categories. Kimi had barely entered car racing at all. He moved from karts into Formula Renault in 1999 and 2000, competing in a limited calendar with a small private team. Across his entire pre-F1 career in cars, Kimi completed just 23 official race starts. 23. That number alone should have ended the conversation. In modern terms, it would be unthinkable. Yet whispers began circulating in the paddock. Engineers noticed something unusual when they looked at his telemetry. Not refined technique, not textbook inputs, something raw, something unfiltered. Kimi wasn't driving the car the way he was supposed to, he was driving it the way it wanted to be driven. Peter Sauber's impossible bet. The man who decided to gamble everything on that instinct was Peter Sauber. Sauber was not Ferrari, not McLaren. He ran a small, independent Swiss team that survived on precision, discipline, and avoiding catastrophic mistakes. Signing an unproven driver with virtually no experience wasn't just risky, it was potentially fatal for the team's credibility. In the summer of 2000, Sauber invited Kimi for a private Formula 1 test. This wasn't a publicity stunt, it was a quiet experiment, one that few people knew about and even fewer believed in. Kimi climbed into the car with almost no reference points, no years of single-seater muscle memory, no deeply ingrained habits. What followed stunned everyone watching the data screens. He wasn't tentative, he wasn't overwhelmed, he didn't gradually build speed, he was immediately fast. On certain sections of the circuit he was matching, and occasionally exceeding, the times of Sauber's experienced drivers. There was no dramatic overdriving, no visible panic. Just calm, repeatable pace. As if he had always belonged there. Sauber later explained it in the simplest way possible. Kimi didn't overthink, he didn't argue with the car, he listened to it. In a sport obsessed with theory, Kimi drove by feel. Formula 1 pushes back plus. The test created panic in the corridors of power. Formula 1 is not only a sport, it is an institution, and institutions do not like shortcuts, especially not ones that make the rulebook look arbitrary. The FIA refused to accept Sauber's request to sign Räikkönen outright. The super license existed specifically to prevent exactly this scenario. Experience thresholds were meant to protect drivers and the sport itself. Granting Kimi a license would mean admitting that the ladder wasn't absolute. That talent could outweigh tradition, that the system could be bypassed. Max Mosley and FIA officials questioned everything. Was it safe? Was it reckless? Was Sauber gambling with a young man's life? Critics in the paddock called it irresponsible. Former drivers scoffed at the idea. Journalists mocked the move as arrogance. Sauber did not back down. He argued that the rules were meant to ensure competence, not enforce bureaucracy. Kimi's performance proved competence beyond doubt. After intense debate, the FIA relented, but only partially. Kimi Räikkönen was granted a provisional super license, conditional, watched. One mistake away from revocation. The message was clear, this was a trial, not an endorsement. The calm before the storm. The 2001 Australian Grand Prix was supposed to expose the lie. A rookie with no experience, no reference, no margin for error, dropped into one of the most demanding environments in motorsport. Media scrutiny was relentless. Cameras followed him everywhere. Kimi responded by doing the most Kimi Räikkönen thing imaginable. He took a nap. While others paced, stretched, and obsessed over data, Kimi slept in the motorhome. Not as an act, not to make a statement, because he was tired. When the race began, he drove like he always did, clean, efficient, invisible. He finished 6th, a point on debut. No drama, no excuses, no luck, just execution. The argument ended immediately. The FIA had no grounds left to stand on. The paddock realized they weren't watching a gamble anymore. They were watching inevitability, McLaren, and the making of a star. By the end of the season, Kimi Räikkönen was no longer a curiosity. He was a target. McLaren moved quickly. They had watched him dismantle the learning curve everyone else struggled with. They saw a driver immune to pressure, uninterested in politics, and dangerously fast. At McLaren, Kimi's reputation hardened. He wasn't just quick. He was relentless. He extracted lap time where others couldn't. He drove on the edge without appearing to try. And when things went wrong, and they often did due to McLaren's fragile reliability, he didn't complain. He simply waited. Battles with Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso defined an era. Championships slipped away by margins so small they felt cruel. Engines failed, strategies collapsed, fate intervened. Through it all, Kimi remained unchanged. His now legendary radio message captured his entire philosophy. Leave him alone. He knew what he was doing. It wasn't arrogance, it was truth. Ferrari and the one perfect year. In 2007, Ferrari offered Kimi what McLaren never could: stability. The season unfolded as one of the most chaotic title fights in history. Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Räikkönen, 3 drivers, 1 point separating them. Brazil, the final race. Kimi needed perfection and help. He delivered the first part himself. Calm start, flawless pace, strategic brilliance. He won the race. Then the impossible happened. His rivals faltered just enough. By 1 point, Kimi Räikkönen became Formula One world champion. The driver once deemed too inexperienced to race had reached the summit of the sport, the legacy of the shortcut. Kimi's career extended far beyond that title. He left, he returned, he raced because he wanted to, he stopped when he didn't. He never reshaped himself to fit Formula One's expectations, and that is his real legacy. Kimi Räikkönen proved that raw talent still matters. That instinct can rival data, that feel can outperform theory. He exposed the fragility of Formula One's systems by succeeding without them. He didn't reject the ladder out of rebellion, he simply never needed it. From 23 races to world champion, the Iceman didn't just take a shortcut, he proved it was there all along. While others chased perfection, he chased honesty behind the wheel. His silence spoke louder than press conferences, and his results answered every doubt. He raced on his own terms, indifferent to narratives and immune to pressure. In an era of manufactured personalities, he remained unmanufactured. Formula One tried to evolve past drivers like Kimi, but in doing so, it revealed how much it still needs them. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more content. Thank you. For more content decoded, hit that subscribe button.